What's good, peeps? Thanks as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. I was thinking the other day, what's the next big super fight in boxing? Like, what's the next monster fight? Doesn't have to happen immediately. I'm not talking even the next sort of year, but something that we can at least look forward to in the next 18 to 24 months. For the last sort of year and a half, that fight's been Joshua versus Wilder. But obviously with Joshua losing to Ruiz, that kind of put a stop on that. And even if Joshua knocks out Ruiz and it's a spectacular performance, I still think it's lost a bit. It's lost a lot, in fact. For me, a super fight is when going in, you kind of think it could be 50-50. And I think a lot of people would predict now that Wilder would ice Joshua, probably even early. So I don't know if that's a super fight. It still would do amazing numbers, don't get me wrong. But I don't know if I'd class that as a super fight. My definition of a super fight, I'm trying to give you an example of a fight that was last super fight for me, was Ggg Canelo. That was a super fight, both of them, right? We're going in, you're not quite sure, 50-50, world titles are on the line, and it's just a big fight. Casuals are interested, boxing hardcores are interested. That, for me, is a super fight. Because some people might say Tyson Fury versus Wilder, the rematch. Don't know if that's a super fight. I mean, I think it would be a good fight, but I don't know if it's a super fight. I think it might do better numbers than the last one. I think the last one done something like, what, 350, 400,000 buys, I think I read. It will do better than that, but I don't know if it's a super fight. I don't even know if Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence is a super fight. I mean, I like that fight. I think for a boxing hardcore, fantastic matchup. But will it do good numbers? Don't know. Don't know. I don't think it will. And that's what I mean by a super fight. I mean, look, Mayweather-Pacquiao, Canelo-Mayweather, big numbers, big fights, massive fights, right? For everyone, not just us hardcore boxing fans. So I don't know if Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence is a super fight. Same reason I don't think Gervonta Davis versus Lomachenko is a super fight. I'm very interested to see what Lomachenko's numbers are for Luke Campbell. But I don't know if that's a super fight. I don't know if casual boxing fans really appreciate what they're seeing with Lomachenko. Hardcore boxing fans fucking love him. And for me, personally, that's a fantastic fight. Is it a super fight? Don't know. Don't know if it's a super fight. I still think a lot of people would predict Loma to beat Gervonta Davis quite comfortably. I know Gervonta's got the power, but I think, again, if you asked 100 people, I think 90 would say that Loma would win. So I don't know if that's a super fight either. That's what made me question, when is the next big one? The only one, and people are going to call me mad here, and I'm happy to be called mad because sometimes I am a bit mad. But the only one that I think could be built into a super fight, and I'm actually having second thoughts as I'm even saying this, but I'm still going to say it regardless. Errol Spence, hear me out here. Errol Spence is obviously fighting Sean Porter. I think Errol Spence will beat Sean Porter. I think it will be a decent fight, but I think it will beat him quite comfortably in the end. What next for Errol Spence at 147 if he beats Sean Porter? He's not going to fight Manny Pacquiao. It's not going to happen. Manny Pacquiao's not fighting Errol Spence. And the Terence Crawford fight right now seems dead in the water because of this top-ranked PBC Al Heyman issue. It's not going to happen, right? So why stay at 147? He clearly struggles to make weight because he's massive. He is massive. Can he then go to 154 pounds and win a belt? It's not going to be easy because then I think he's just the same size, if not slightly smaller than those guys, because some of those guys are huge. Not all of them, by the way. I mean, he's still bigger than someone like a Lara for me, naturally bigger. But then obviously you've got people like Jarrett Hurd walking about who are just fucking, I don't know how big that guy is naturally, but he's a big guy. Can he go to 154 pounds and win a belt? If the answer to that question is yes, he can, then I'm sorry, but the next super fight is Canelo versus Errol Spence, right? If Canelo stays at 160, right now, obviously hearing about Canelo going to 175 pounds, Canelo going to 168. If Canelo can stay at 160, and remember, I'm talking about a year and a half's time here, people, not tomorrow. If Canelo can stay at 160 and Errol Spence can go to 154 and win a belt, a lot of ifs here, that then will be talked about as being a super fight. I think Errol Spence is starting to grow on people. I think his pay-per-view numbers are going up. Again, it would be interesting to see what he does against Sean Porter. But I think Errol Spence versus Canelo, if Canelo stays at 160 and Errol Spence jumps to 154, could potentially be a super fight. Again, we've got a lot of ifs and buts here, but all I'm saying is I don't see much for Errol Spence to stay at 147 for after the Sean Porter fight. And can he win a bout at 154 pounds? Won't be easy. Charlo's there, and obviously they're friends and buddies. If he can, then Errol Spence versus Canelo 2021 is the next big super fight, and I think it would be massive. Not Canelo Floyd massive, no, not even Floyd Oscar massive. I'm not trying to say that, but it will still be big. We already know the superstar that Canelo is. I'm talking about the growth of Errol Spence. Will that be enough to make that into a super fight? I think so. And I don't think, especially if he goes to 154 pounds and looks good, I don't think it's a given that Canelo destroys him, right? Remember, I said a super fight needs to be two fighters that you think will be close to 50-50. I still think you'd have Canelo as a big favourite, don't get me wrong, but it still would be a super fight for me. What do you guys think? Let me know. Peace.